of your way. I can make it through 1,000 tomorrow. You were here today. Let the titans clash on this land of ours. All I move, earth tomorrow. It won't matter. I know who you are. I'll be loving you. That's my resolution, baby. I'll be loving you. Oh, if the clock's still ticking, if there's any time at all, you can do everything for mine. So let the world come to me, let it cease away. I'll be loving you. If the sun comes up and the desert breeze, but still something hard has to be. If the moon comes out to compliment the stars, I'll be loving you. Give me say, if the clock's still ticking, if there's any time, nothing you can do, everything for mine. So let the world come to let it cease away. I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you. Yeah. I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you. Yeah. I'll be loving you. 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 I'll be loving you.
The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery. The person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act. The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer. Do we move forward together, or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Lloyd Spence. And listen, all you got to do is find your reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf, all at betonline.ag. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. So, head to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, B-L-E-A-V 50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Tell them the Noisemakers sent you.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Popcorn World. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of a can. But to make it round the world, when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. 250 flavors. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. What's that saying? Breaking down the rumor and smiling out. Speaking for the people who must go around. Taking truth to power with a whisper and a shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, say it again, say we're talking noise. Yeah, talking noise. Really don't have to fool around. Never noise keeps us lined up. When truth divine, the sound that you hear is the sound of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the same. We're talking noise. Oh yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise. Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. Noise, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother Noise, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle Noise, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ. 2, 1, ready, come on.
Making a way when you good time. Hey, we're looking, we got.
Come on, everybody. Thank you, white guitarist. Hello, everybody. We're glad to be back with you with another episode of Talkin Noise. We're so glad to be with you one and another. And we just want you to have a good time and enjoy your night. Go ahead and grab your Bible, grab your church fans, grab your tithe and envelopes. Let's just fellowship together in the love of the Lord and just enjoy one another's presence. Is that all right? God bless each and every one of them. I know what you're thinking. I know what y'all thinking. Where is White Organist? Well, he had to work a double shift tonight. So he wasn't able to make it. But White Guitarist graciously decided to fill in for him since they're friends and to kick him down some bread so he wouldn't be completely out of money. Isn't that nice?
For a minute there, I thought you was Joel Osteen.
What? I can't bring the same energy with White Guitar.
Hey, we talked about that she can't be on screen at the same time I am.
What are you talking about?
You did it on purpose.
I'm not doing anything on purpose.
Noisemakers, Mr. Noise has another woman.
I do what? I do not have another woman.
And then there she is.
Why would you say that?
His other woman's name
is to travel to Arkansas from Texas. You brought another woman.
I didn't bring no other woman.
And then look at him keep rubbing her into the screen. Look, it's called Miss Relief. He done named it and wrote her name on the back scratcher.
It's a back scratcher. That's all it is.
No, it ain't.
Oh.
I told him if he keeps it up, she's gonna become firewood.
Mama Noise, you are way out of line right now. You're just too over the top.
Am I?
Yes, it's a back scratcher.
Yeah, why you gotta name it Miss Relief?
Because it gives me relief.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having relief? Don't you want relief in your life? Don't you want relief in your life?
I got fingernails.
Yeah, but you're not always available. You be doing stuff.
Uh-huh. I hear you. You ain't hearing yourself. You're not always available.
To scratch my back.
That's right.
Available to you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he said.
My storage is empty.
Mama Noise, I don't understand why he's so hostile when it comes to this thing. Jesus.
I'm telling you, when it comes
to
missing,
object. It's an inanimate object.
When it comes up missing, you ain't got to wonder. You like, man, there's some firewood outside. It's a fire. It's a bonfire.
Mama Noise, you don't think there's a level of counseling that needs to be taken care of that you're jealous of a backcracker?
It's going to be in the same time capsule as those sweats you've been looking for.
What sweat?
Oh my God. You coming in hot. He ain't even on the show yet.
What's
He's en route coming in hot.
Yeah, he could have called, that's right. He could have called it that, and I would have had
my God. What were the sweats? He was looking for some pants or something. Old raggedy pants, his favorite
lounge around, and he couldn't find them.
That's right. He calls them blowout draws or blowout
It wasn't
shorts.
blowout draws. It was just some sweats.
No, they wasn't just sweats.
It was those Nike sweats.
And
remember?
she hit him, and you hit him from him.
And she hit him from me. Right.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you got to know when to say when.
I just wanted to get my back scratched tonight.
And the back scratcher is going to hit that same location.
Why don't you leave my back scratcher alone? This is not healthy. What you're doing right now is not healthy.
Wasn't healthy is that you wrote the name on it so eloquently.
I just did that so I wouldn't forget where it was.
Mrs. Relief. I'm saying, what the?
It's not a Mrs. She's not married. What is going on tonight? That's not funny, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia.
Leave Wes
I
alone.
appreciate you.
Leave Wes alone. He ain't done nothing to y'all.
I appreciate you, Alicia.
What are guitar bees? What does that even mean?
The ones he be calling his woman and all that type of stuff. Nope.
What's wrong with that?
You know, you sound like that dude, who says, "There's nothing wrong with me just talking really nice to my cell phone." And then he tried to marry the cell phone.
That's not the same thing.
Look at you. You ain't been scratching with that thing since we've been here.
Mama Noise, it wasn't itching like that tonight.
Right, Alicia, and stroking. You know what I'm talking about? See that? That's what I'm talking about.
What is going on tonight? Why are the women of Noise Media so hostile, Al Brown? Alicia ready to burn up the man's guitars.
Tuesday. You told him to pull up, bro.
I did.
You told him to pull up.
Yes, you did.
They coming with big burn up energy too.
You know what happened the last time you told the women to pull up?
They said he gotta.
Yeah, but I know he don't be putting no name on it and all that. Come on.
First of all, you don't know what he guilty is. You don't know what he.
No, Jay is a defender of the earth, and he does not have one of that. That's not what he does.
He just said he got one, Mama Noise.
Yeah, but he said a back scratcher. He didn't say he had Miss Relief.
Mama Noise, I just wrote the name on there because it seemed like a nice
That's
name.
okay. I got a black marker.
I don't understand what just happened here tonight. This is the level of hostility and anger that are being brought by the women of this here podcast is very high and very intense, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well,
Albie, how you doing today, man? What's going on with you? Albie still around? Oh, there you go.
Here.
All right.
I got one phrase to sum it up. Like sands through the hourglass.
Oh my God.
So are the days of my life.
Oh
it was a long day, my brother.
Yeah.
Longer today than I was yesterday.
Longer today. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's because I had an argument with a parent.
Oh no.
5 minutes.
You had an argument with a parent?
Yeah.
About what? If you don't mind, I mean,
as much as I can tell. She
right.
That I relocated her student, her child, on my bus because of unsatisfactory behavior.
Oh.
Or, as JCPS says now, failure to meet transportation expectations.
That's right.
So she proceeded to tell me where she worked and who her husband was and where her daughter was going to sit. Only to find out that her daughter was lying all along.
Oh, wow.
Before we could get back to the compound and pull the tape, she had already called the compound. And you know me, I came in hot. About 70 miles an hour, whipped it in front of the compound. I was like, come pull the tape. Come pull the tape.
Uh-huh.
And they met me at the door, said, no need to pull the tape. The mama called and apologized.
She called and apologized?
I told him I need a mental health day. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, everybody else taking it. Take yours too.
Niggas and flies.
Yeah, take yours too. Everybody else taking theirs. Jay said you need to get some of that tension relief. that we talked about last night. Wow. Jay is really coming in hot today. He's coming.
Hey,
in.
I fell asleep on y'all last night. How'd y'all like
You did.
that?
You did. You was
I
knocked
woke
out.
up about 1:30 with the screen looking at me. I'm like,
Are you still in? You still in the screen?
bruh. I was still staring at it, bruh.
It happens. Yeah, Mama knows you muted. Can't nobody hear nothing you saying. Nothing you saying.
I bet I was calling the hogs too. What?
He was like, where everybody go?
Not really. You wasn't calling the hogs per se, but you were knocked out. You were knocked. You were good knocked out. And I said, Al, we're gonna leave, and you didn't say, you didn't move. I said, well, he will certainly figure it out once he comes back and sees nobody on the screen.
Yeah, about 4.5 hours later, I figured it out.
There you go. So it's all about timing, you know.
He
But
was
maybe the light helped lull you to sleep.
That's what we call it. He was tarred.
He was tarred.
I don't even remember if my bedroom light was off. Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
Y'all should have took that as a sign. It's like this ninja Greek go to bed.
He's tired. I ain't gonna lie to you.
My baby's sick. My poor baby.
She's sick. What's wrong with the baby?
Sick of school?
Sick of school or just sick?
Oh, my bad. I ain't even got the camera on. Look at her. She just
Okay.
looks beautiful, don't she?
Oh,
She just looks beautiful.
Cannibal. So you feeling bad, baby girl?
Oh, woo.
Maybe daddy will make you some hot soup and a grilled cheese.
She's sick of soup. She don't want no more soup, but she can't keep nothing else down. She can keep the soup down, but she don't want no more soup.
Oh.
Maybe it's the because you keep giving her the same soup. Like, what's your soup preference when you're sick? Chicken noodle. See if you can get your tomatoes really good. I like tomato soup. Hey, cousin Celia, Dr. Celia Fitzroy's in the building.
Dr. Harrison.
Right, I'm sorry, Dr. Harrison. That's right.
I'm trying to doctor my baby back up.
And see, the doctor was clapping because you taking care of the baby. See there?
That's not why she's clapping.
You
right, man.
She clapping because she's happy to see you.
I'm happy to see her too. I owe her a phone call, or maybe she owes me one. I don't know yet. We got to figure it out. But we need to catch up. So expect a phone call from me this week, cuz. Anyway, we glad to be here tonight. I'm ecstatic to be here with y'all tonight. I don't know where cuz is over there playing with himself or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Nope.
Yeah, she was saying take care of that baby. That's what she was saying.
See.
Take care of the baby.
Oh, because you looking like somebody give me a hug.
Yeah. Thanks for my child. You brought me so much joy. Thanks for my child. Y'all remember that song?
Yeah.
Y'all talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back. I gotta go fix some soup.
Right. Take care of the baby, man. Take care of the baby. Take care of the baby. There you go.
I mean, like, they gonna make me some soup. You don't even make me no soup.
Make baby some soup. There you go.
Oh my God.
Soup makes you feel better when you're sick.
It do. Hot liquid.
Yeah, you have some soup, you let it sit on your stomach, it make you feel good. My preference is a good who is Sharon?
See. I plausible deniability.
I don't. Why are you putting this out here like so? When Oprah comes, we got to testify against you. I don't like this. I feel wildly uncomfortable.
That's right.
I didn't see nothing. Nothing. But my preference is tomato soup. I like a good tomato soup with a nice oregano Italian blend, little cheese on top.
Are you really a soup person though?
I love soup.
Oh,
I wished that I could get you ninjas to eat soup more.
Wait a minute. You better put your weight on it.
I do, because I would make
serious about it.
I am. I would make more soup for our family if I knew y'all like soup, but y'all don't really like soup like I like.
Now you made that faux.
But that's not the same thing.
Oh my gosh, you made that up, bruh.
No, pho is nice. It's nice.
We almost ate it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, pho is nice. I like a good pho, but my favorite soups are like potato based and tomato. I'm a big fan of those two soups.
Oh, but see, I don't know if you can say you're a soup person if that's all you like.
I say that's my favorite. I didn't say that's all I liked.
Anything else?
I like all kinds of soups. I like French onion. I like vegetable. I like chicken veg, like Alicia said. Although I don't want a lot of corn in it. That's ridiculous. That's not
well, I can understand it.
Yeah. I like I just like soup. I'm a soup dude.
Oh my gosh. I love soup. I get some lobster bisque, some
Who's white?
ham chowder.
That's not what that says. It says, hold on. First of all, Jay is trying to say something different. You said you are at Sharon's house. She's making some soup. That's what you said. So that's what we went by. We can no longer go by what you typed.
Mm-hmm. You know, he always talk about that he Mississippi slow. So I'm just saying.
Right. So anyway,
I love all kinds of soups.
I love soup.
Oh my goodness! Listen,
and it don't have to be cold for me to eat soup.
Oh yeah, listen, any time of year.
I'm in trouble now.
Why? What's wrong?
Tara done pulled up early today.
That's fine. I need trouble.
What is hobo soup?
Is that Arkansas?
Could be. I'm gonna look it up.
Recipe? Is that where you throw everything plus the kitchen sink in?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like some kind of everything into it.
Is that another word for gumbo?
No.
Oh my gosh, I love gumbo.
Don't throw everything in gumbo.
I love gumbo. I love okra. See, so I appreciate a good gumbo.
I'm looking up hobo soup now. Hobo soup just sounds like a lot. There's a lot going on in hobo soup.
Oh, you looking at the recipe?
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Ew. Jay said he like goat head soup.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He's a goat head. I'm just saying.
Gumbo's not a soup? Well, you could have fooled me.
What would you call gumbo then, Jay, if it ain't a soup?
He's gonna say something like a stew. Something.
What's the difference? There ain't no difference. Stop trying to be technical.
I mean, you made some chili tonight?
I like chili. I love chili.
When we was in Kentucky, I could not make chili without using that Bloomer's chili powder. Love the chili powder.
Hobo soup sounds good, minus the corn. I don't want no corn in it, but I use
the powder and the base.
Oh yeah. I was trying to get my mother to ship me some. I was like, "Can you ship me some of that Bloomers? They don't have it down here."
Is hobo soup on the menu tonight, Tara? Is that what you're cooking? I'm just curious.
Because we got to walk a fine line. You keep us straight when you pull up early.
Right. Listen, that's my sorrow.
Oh,
wait a minute. Dion said gumbo with the shrimp and chicken and andouille.
They already told y'all gumbo's not a soup.
Well, Jay is not the deciding factor.
Nobody listen to Jay.
Neither's pig ear sandwich, but you eat it. So
what? It's because he used 2 pieces of bread. I mean,
if gumbo's not a soup, what is it? You cook it the same way.
I'm just listen. So
Tara making chicken chili. Everybody making chicken chili tonight.
No, she said no chicken chili. She said
I asked her what she making hobo soup, and I think she said no chicken chili tonight.
Oh, okay. Man, everybody's opting for the warm and fuzzy tonight.
Are they experiencing a cool? No. At least it's not there. It's warm here.
It's been raining a lot here.
No, I can't say that. Mama knows.
Did they get a cold front after all the rain in Texas?
I would imagine it is cooler.
I'm
glad Cuz is cracking up laughing. That makes me happy. That makes me happy.
Listen,
they probably got a little cooler in Texas. They still climbing out from under the wall. I've been hearing some terrible stories coming out of the thing.
Facts. Alicia said we eat chili year round. That's true.
Mom and I moved on to something else, and you just keep going back.
I definitely do.
You don't just eat chili at a certain time of year. Oh, well.
What y'all say her name was? Harrison?
Dr. Harrison said it is hot.
When is it not hot in Houston?
It's always hot in Houston.
It's hot and humid. Yeah, I'm you know. Oh, it's raining in the DFW?
Yeah, they ain't stopped raining.
I thought that some of that water was gonna get dried up, you know.
No, not yet. It ain't as bad. I don't think it's as bad as it was.
I don't think dried up is the citizens of Texas is hope for a new governor. That's the only thing dried up.
Oh.
Well, no, right now I think they're neck and in the polls. Beto's catching up. He's gained some ground.
Come on, Beto.
But we need Beto to go and take the lead.
We need to get rid of no shade, Governor Hot Wheels. We need to get rid of him.
That is total shade. What are you talking about? No shade. You just call him in.
I mean, you know, for those that are in the area, they like, you know, that's right. But people that are not in the area be like,
you shade the shit out of that man. You
if you're not from the area, you probably like, wow, that was insensitive.
You completely shaded that man to death.
Like, we are tired of his stuff.
How you gonna call no shade and then give a shade?
The city of Louisville about to mess around and get a Republican mayor.
Uh-oh.
We ain't had one of them since Jesus walked the earth.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. We really do have to take these elections, local and statewide, more seriously than we taking them. We be checking out, bro. Like black people be checking out of these local elections, and that's why we be on the backside of some problems. And then when the rain comes and your city get flooded out and you can't get the funds you need to climb up out of it, you wondering, man, where's my local government? Well, you voted for the wrong person. So you gotta stay engaged, people. Stay engaged at all times.
We look up and be like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because we only be paying attention for presidential.
And sometimes not even then.
True.
So anyway. Well, all these ladies here means I guess we're ready to get started with tonight's show.
Yeah, let's go.
We got a pretty intense Talk That Tuesday question. And the two questions tonight that we will deal with: do black women not need black men anymore?
And have black women decided they don't need a black man anymore?
And this question, or these questions, stem from an article that actually came out in the Dallas Morning News. I think it was 2 days ago, right? Shout out to the author Lori Irby Jackson, who put this article. And it says the article is titled "Women Are Expecting Better from Men." And I'll just read some excerpts. I won't read the whole thing because it's pretty long, but I'll read some excerpts from it. It starts by saying, "Girl, let me tell you something. You're kind of getting up there. You're running out of time and need to stop being so picky." It says, "I was a 30-something when I heard those words from a male relative newly moved into my just purchased home as a single mother. Beyond the sheer audacity of such a statement, I can't exactly remember what stunned me more, being considered old in my early 30s, or the implication that I was on a perpetual hunt for a new husband." Excuse me. Contrary to what he believed, I was perfectly content being alone while raising my son, if waiting until I met a man worthy of us meant I was picky, so be it. Many other women are biding their time or deciding their relationships are options rather than priorities, given the response to a Psychology Today article that went viral titled "The Rise of Lonely Single Men." Author Greg Matos, a board-certified couple and family psychologist, says that the last 3 decades have witnessed an evolution in the dynamics of relationships. Since women are now more independent and have tools and resources that previous generations didn't have, we can afford not to have a relationship for survival, assets, or even parenthood. As a result, single men find themselves without a romantic partner for longer periods of time. As opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. In other words, many men relied on being needed instead of wanted, and their social skills or appeal have been found lacking. Now, I am not trained expert like Matos, author Greg Matos, and as I've stated in this column numerous times, it's been years since I've been in the dating pool. But I can certainly attest to the fact that some guys don't seem to understand they need to have more going for them than the bare minimum. Matos says that during his TikTok live shows, women between the ages of 25 and 45 will tell him they're looking for men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. Whereas their mothers and grandmothers had to settle for partners who were decent providers and had a willingness to connect. Modern women know they can do better than just the basics, and that, quite frankly, they should. In a 2009 article, relationship expert Bella DiPaolo says that when there isn't a spouse to deal with, a study of over 23,000 mothers revealed single mothers did less housework, spent more time on leisure and sleeping than married mothers, all while still spending quality time with their kids. Putting effort into a relationship requires more work on our part, mostly constituting unseen mental and emotional labor. Men need to be worth it, or today's single ladies will opt to remain as such. Interesting conversation right there. That is one perspective, people. I also wanted to bring to the conversation, if I can, I think I've downloaded it. Maybe I did not download it. Now that I'm looking at it, I see that I did not download it. Another perspective. And but before talk amongst yourselves while I pull that up in response to what you've heard so far.
Wow. That was a lot.
You agree or disagree, Mama Noy? This is a hard question for you to answer because you haven't been single in 24 years.
Well, that's why I was looking at what Tara put in the chat first. In that regard, where she says we haven't decided anymore. We've just decided if it's not better.
What are you doing?
What? I was reading what was in the chat.
Is that you making that noise like that?
No. It's Jay.
Jay? Yes, Jay. That was you, cuz. That was you. That was you.
Looking like, I don't know who.
That was you. That was all you. Just first of all, how you doing, cuz? It's good to see you. I'm trying to find the video.
Because his mouth is moving and ain't no words coming out.
Rude as you want to be.
Who's rude?
I was up there watching those Cowboys practice.
You wasting your time.
Back home. Let me finish my thought.
Okay. You was wasting your time, though. You're doing better things with your time than that. That's a waste of time.
See? And then he gets muted.
Hello,
Give him the
diggity back.
that choice.
Oh my gosh.
Check them boys out. They brought them cheerleaders out there. And
Oh, wow.
There it is. Now we get into the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what an erection felt like, but that was all right.
Oh my goodness. What's happening right now?
Focus, old man.
Well, I found the video now. Do y'all want to see the other video
Yeah, because
prior to this guy?
What's wrong? I can't even talk to y'all.
Well, because this is thoughts together, let's watch this video with an interview with Angie Martinez and Tamika Mallory.
not that. Oh,
Well, I just want to play the end of it, really.
oh,
Not even the whole video, just
For what?
Mom knows why you giving the attitude like that? That's not
I mean,
well, because it's relevant to the conversation.
I used to be like having high esteem for Tamika Mallory, but after this interview,
I have high esteem for it. I just think she missed the mark on this. But let's let everybody
Curious
see
about the feelings that you experienced, though, because like you
things. And my son's like,
choosing. I still think there's things I want to chase, but being mindful and choosing them specifically and strategically, not just running.
not just running.
Because we run, right? And we chase. And I gotta imagine, especially young Tamika, after that type of trauma and that type of heartache, that you bury some of that pain and some of that in the work.
I didn't do right by my son. Period. That's the answer. Like, I hear what
Why?
you're
Because
saying.
you were buried, or
Because I was working my ass off, and he knows it. He understands. We're good now.
Yeah.
Oh, but he went through hell. And that's just if you study history, most leaders, especially in this work, which is trauma-filled work, will tell you that if they could do it all over again, the relationship with their children is the main thing that they would go back and fix.
So what would you have done?
Been more present.
How?
Not physically, because physically I was in and out. Mentally, I was not always there, because some shit could be happening, like big things. And my son's like, Mom. And I'm like, yeah. Didn't even hear anything he said. Now, thank God my sister was always like, even now, their relationship, she listens to him. And then she's the one who taps in with me, like, yo,
this is what you're
did
missing.
you know that he da-da-da-da-da? And I'm like, oh, okay, shoot, thank you. You know, she always has been
That's nice.
my backup. And I needed that. But it hurt him. And then as he got older, he began to articulate it to me. But the way in which he did it, which is where he and I have issues, is like, bruh, I don't give a damn if I haven't been home. You still going to do XYZ that teacher says. Because, you know, once he got to an age when he figured out how to maneuver, he was like, I'm depressed. You know, no one has paid attention to me. But he really did have valid feelings. However, I never forget this story. So I was with this guy for 8 years, and he was a great guy. Loved my son, but it was it. Just was time for us to separate. And when I went to my son, and my son knew him as dad. We had been together all that time. So so I went to my son and I said, hey, you know, how would you feel if we broke up? And he said, well, I can see something is going wrong here. He was little too. And I said to him, he must have been 10, maybe 11. And I said, you know, if we break up, are you going to be okay? He said, Mom, I'm with you. You know, whatever you want to do, I'm with you. However it works, he said, I'll still see Dad, but I'm with you. Fast forward to later in life, he and I get into a big blow up one day. And my son turns around and says to me, I've been with you through all your changes. And I've never complained, not even once. I've been with you. I haven't said anything, even when I suffered. And now, whatever it was, you all over me. And I still was like, oh no, we're gonna stick on this point. This
like
right
debating
here,
with your child.
I don't give two hoots about all that. But he was right.
Yeah.
He's been with me through everything that I've been through. And he has allowed me to be a family member, at least. I don't want to say mother because I'm not aging myself, but a family member to other families. And when I wasn't necessarily being the best family member to him.
That's tough.
It's tough.
Do you forgive yourself for that?
Absolutely, because
Good.
I can't control white supremacy. That's not, that's not something, that's what it does. That's the point of white supremacy. It breaks down families. It takes people mentally, emotionally, and physically away from where they should be. And it takes away our happiness and our joy, which would be me and my baby being together. It would actually be me and my baby, and whether or not things worked out with his father and me, but it at least would be his father being present.
Now, to be very clear in that conversation, Tamika's baby daddy, if in this particular case, was killed. He is not an absentee father. He was murdered. And that's kind of what pushed her into activism as a whole and thrust her into the spotlight.
Okay.
Her response to the murder of her son's father. But her answer to that conversation to me was quite interesting. And that's now you understand what sparks the debate, not debate, but the conversation that we're having today.
I mean, listen.
Who is she?
Tamika Mallory, for those who may not know, Tamika is a young lady who was, I say thrust into the spotlight, but she kind of came into the spotlight. She's an activist who started the social justice, I guess is the name of her organization. But she kind of fell into the spotlight when her son's father was killed. She's always kind of been around it. I think her parents were a part of Al Sharpton stuff, and she was a single mother for a long early on and whatever, Well, I'm sorry.
Are we planning on addressing the bullshit she was saying?
I mean,
well, I think all of it needs to be addressed. So yes, we absolutely we need to address all of it because, well, but what she said stems into the overall conversation of what we're talking about, because some women have decided, like what the article said, that black men need to step their game up, and that's probably true. That's probably true. I don't know if I can argue with that part. Black men do need to step their game up.
Why you say probably true? Why you say probably?
Well, the reason why I said hold on, Slappy White. The reason why I said probably is because
make yourself clear now.
I'm trying to make it clear if you stop interrupting. I said probably, and I'm gonna stick by my probably because I unlike you, I don't think it is as simple as the person in the article. I don't think it's as simple as the person in the article made it, which brings me back to what Tamika's conversation is.
I can speak for me.
I'm speaking for me. What's wrong with you?
You say unlike you.
Unlike you, right, because you're the defender of the earth. We understand what you do.
I got me.
Whatever. The reality is, I think there's probably, it's more nuanced than the article, and even those psychologists, so-called psychologists, would like us to believe. I think those conversations are far more nuanced than what those articles and surveys would like us to believe that they are. And so that's why I said probably. But as a whole, do black men need to step up and be better? Of course. But that is to imply that we don't all need to step up and be better. We all need to step up and be better. We can be better than what we're doing for sure. So it's an interesting thing, but it sounds like you want to start with the last part and her comments. So why don't we start there, cuz, and you go ahead and say what you want to say before you forget, because I don't want you to forget. I know how old you are.
I don't have anywhere where I want to start. I was
We
talking.
can start there because I don't want you to forget. You will forget. We know this.
I was talking about that push-up bra she had on. That's what I like.
Wait a minute. Can we start in a righteous place?
Wow.
Not necessarily with her presentation. What's up, Rod?
She the one wore it, not me.
But she didn't wear it for you to comment on the podcast.
I ain't blind, crippled, or crazy.
Well, that last part is to be determined.
Well,
somewhere digging up daisies.
Oh my goodness.
She was talking about how her son was talking about he was depressed or he was struggling with some mental health challenges.
Right.
And then she was like, dead all that.
Why are you not doing your schoolwork?
It's like, let's just skip over that and just get to why you ain't,
She's older than I thought she was too. I didn't know she was 41.
But I mean, then when it was so much, it's a gumbo of what she was saying was just so much stuff happening. Then when she's like, he don't, I'm not going to call myself his mother because that would tell you how I would date myself. So what? You are his mother. I'm going to just say I'm a family member. What kind of tomfoolery? I make no sense at all, but okay.
Albie, you talking to us? Okay. I agree with you, Mama Nose. I thought that was a strange comment for any mother to make. I'm not going date myself as his mother.
Well, I thought she was saying she wasn't going to date because her immediate comment was, I'm not going to date myself as a mother in relation to, I thought she was saying in relation to mothering other people as opposed to mothering her own son.
How would that date yourself?
I don't know either. That was a strange comment, period. But I didn't get what she was trying to go with that.
From there to white supremacy. What? No.
So to me, as I listened to the woman, I was drawn to her. But as I listened to the woman, I kept thinking selfish ass. Because you neglected your son, by your own words, for what you wanted to do.
You were thinking selfish.
And then after your son became of age, he wanted to call you out on your foolishness. He was calling you out because the entire time of his childhood, you made it about what you wanted and not about him. So that's why he was calling you out. You never made him a priority. You made whatever you wanted a priority. You sat there and said with your ragged ass, you sat there and said that my son would come and talk to me and I would say, yeah, and I wasn't listening to him. Now, I don't know what you call that, Mr. Noise or Mama Noise or Brother Al, but I call that seriously an inward thinking person. You don't give a damn about anybody else. And the only reason why that activism you doing is because that's what you want to do.
Oh boy, this is a challenging conversation.
How do you help the world and the person that you have is standing in front of you and you won't give him your undivided attention?
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. In fact, if you go back and watch the entire interview, and shout out to Angie Martinez, who did a phenomenal job in this interview. Angie tells a story in the interview about how she started making better choices in her own career so that the choices would not derail her ability to be a mom. She still needed to be present in her child's life and not, And I think she was trying to say that to Tamika in a way to where she would understand it, but I don't think Tamika truly understood it. And clearly Tamika doubled down because she was like, Angie asked her, do you have any regrets? And she was like, no, I don't have any regrets. Well, you know, I don't know what it gains you to profit the whole world and lose your son, which appears what could possibly happen. If my child tells me I'm depressed and I'm going through this situation, I feel like I've done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've missed something somewhere.
Not necessarily now.
Well, here's what I mean by that. I can't disconnect from my child. Not to say that I can control my child's emotional state. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying I've got to stop what I'm doing and address what she just said, because that becomes the most important thing. And forget my activism, forget saving people around the world, forget going to the speech. I got to deal with this, because if I have not addressed what's going on with my own child, to me, I'm failing as a human.
You know, I'm listening to her talk, you know, saying, she just keeps saying, my son, my son. And I'm like, you know, when our daughter was like, you know, she was having some challenges at school, I had to look at her eyeball to eyeball and say, let me tell you something. We are advocates for you. I will come up to that school and whatever I got to do to help them to understand that she's not coming here by herself. We stand behind her. We're here for her. And not just telling the school that, I mean, letting her know that we're here for you. We're not so busy. We're not so, you know, we're here to support you. We got you.
So let me bring up this conversation then. Now, in Tamika's situation, the baby's father, you're muted, Mama Noise. You went mute. Okay. In Tamika's situation, the baby's father was gone. He's been murdered. So it's a little more challenging. Although, according to her own words, a man stepped up and stepped into the role of father, and it sounded as though he was willing to keep that role going beyond the success or failure of that relationship. So that's good. But I do want to ask this question, because it goes with the theme of what we've been talking about. Would she be more successful or more balanced, or would the young man be more balanced if there was an active male presence, go-to male presence in his life that he could go to? Does that make sense? That was a poorly worded question. But is this the reason why there should be better balance with the men and women in a child's life?
That's why both are so damn important, because neither one can be all to those kids. Parenting is hard work, and you need sometimes to just be able to go in that room and close that door and look at your spouse as if I want to kill one of them ninjas. But you need to be able to bounce it off each other and talk to each other. He can calm you down, or you can calm her down. That type of give and take has to be done between parents, because parenting ain't for chumps.
Facts. Right. That's facts.
And I understand what you're trying to say, Tara. If he's emotionally bankrupt, I get it. I don't know if we can't always lean to the worst elements of what people are, because it sounds like she's emotionally bankrupt. I'm not hearing emotional stability in what she's saying. I didn't hear any emotional stability in anything she said. It sounded like she has our own defense mechanisms up, because early in the interview, and I encourage everybody to go back and watch the rest of the interview. But early in the interview, she talked about how she hadn't truly processed the death of her son's father, and she thrust herself into activism and she thrust herself into this. So it doesn't sound like she's that emotionally solid herself. And then to have an answer of, well, this is what white supremacy does. That's not an answer. White supremacy doesn't keep you from raising your children. Those are your children. So raise your children in the midst of white supremacy. People did it all the time.
I think she was saying that because of the brutality and the things that happens in our society, the injustices that happen in our society, she had no other choice but to pursue what she was pursuing as an activist. And it was because of white supremacy that she had to do what she was doing. And to that eloquent and well crafted soliloquy that she made, I call bullshit. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. There's no such thing as that. That's not a situation where you have to do it. Now you may feel called to do what you're doing, and that's fine. I get it. I understand that, and I respect it. But being called to, it's no different than the preacher or the pastor who says, I'm called to this church, and he puts his family on the shelf. It's no different than the athlete who says, I'm destined and called to play this sport, and he puts his family on the shelf. You have a choice. Yeah. You don't have to be a bad parent in pursuit of the goal. I heard who was the athlete? I just saw Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter said the reason why he didn't marry prior to the start of his career is because he felt like, I can't give a family my all. I can't give a family my all and be a great athlete at the same time. Now, I respect that. I respect the fact that you recognize that you would suck as a father and you don't create lives that are dependent upon your ability to be present and to be active and be good at, being a father. So I can respect that he waited and I think that is the better choice if you don't feel like you can give your all to a child. But to those who jump into the waters and go ahead and create the child, we have to create better balance. We can't be all in on this thing that we think we're supposed to be pursuing and leave our children in the street. Well, Mr. NOIZ, in my humble opinion, and it's humble, Mama NOIZ, no matter what you say.
What? Oh my goodness.
They are both selfish assholes. It's just that one is lying to themselves about it. That's the only difference. That's the only difference.
Who when you say they both, what do you mean?
The Derek Jeters of the world and say, you know what, I can't give my all to my family, so I'm just not gonna have one right now because I'm so focused on me and my success. You know how many people can claim that?
A lot of people.
A lot of people can claim that as an excuse. That's an excuse. But then you have those like the lady that you had on there with the push-up bra on. What's her name?
She can't have the push-up. It's Tamika. Her name is Tamika Mallory.
Hey, I don't know.
It's not push-up bra lady. It's not push-up bra lady.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know her. But
she's working with what she got. She's working with what she got.
My point is, she went on out there and pursued what she wanted to pursue. She just lied to herself about whether or not she could be both.
You think it was a lie?
Oh, it was a lie. Meaning you can do both, but you are focused on one and you're pretending that that's not your only focus. She was pretending that she was being a mother, sitting there listening to her son, and she talking about some, yeah. See, that was a lie she was living. She was pretending. She could have stopped what she was doing and listened to the boy. There is nothing more a kid wants you to do than to listen to them. Now, they don't understand the importance of the safety part. I kept you safe. I kept you fit. I kept you cool. They don't really get that part, but they want you to listen to them.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So it brings us back to the original question. Do women, aka black women, do they need black men in their lives? Do we need each other? And you know, I want to go back to something Dr. Harrison said early. She said, let me find it. No one said women don't need men. And I hear men saying it more, and it helps some get off the hook. I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Some are definitely using that as an excuse. Y'all act like y'all don't need us.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Oh.
Too many are looking for excuses.
Yeah. Now, and here's the challenge that I'm hearing and that I'm seeing in our society right now. And I don't think, and the challenge comes from this, because I agree with the article in that because of societal shifts and philosophical shifts as it relates to how we value women in the workplace and in society as a whole, women can launch off into parenthood and career without a man. They can do it. Is it ideal? That's the question to me. Is it ideal? I would tend to say this. If you as a singular person would like to go into society and do your thing and work and you're just you and nobody else, then I think that's a choice you make. It's a lonely choice, but it's a choice you make. The moment you decide or you bring children into the equation, I think you're making a harder choice. And I think it would be good for you, men and women, to have someone of the opposite sex there to help with that process of raising that child, so the child has balance. That's my opinion. I think having two parents brings active parents in that child's life, brings balance to that child. I think it does. It appears that it does.
Well, here's how I look at that same thing you just said. I 100% agree, and hell, I've lived it. Two ambitious parents at the same time is problematic for raising kids. It really doesn't work.
Yes.
Somebody in this season that we're in right now has to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Didn't say never pursue your dreams. Didn't say that, you wipe your dreams from your mind and you move on with what I want you to do. No, I'm saying that somebody has to be present for those kids while the other one pursues.
That's true.
And then we can flip-flop. But that has to be done. Two ambitious people at the same time is not.
Somebody's gonna suffer.
It does not work for raising kids.
Your children are going to suffer. I mean, I think about when we first got married 23 years ago. I knew that I felt some kind of way being a first-time mother, and I did not feel comfortable putting my child in daycare. I did after she got to a certain age, but I stayed home to raise her, and it put us in a unbelievably tight financial situation for me to stay at home. But I did that. Matter of fact, with both of our daughters, I stayed home, and we was like, we'd rather be in the uncomfortable financial position than both of us just go out and just be ambitious, and then the child is just in the daycare system, and plus the expense of daycare. Goodness gracious, that's a whole nother conversation. But it was a decision that we made. And with all the different things that my husband was pulled in different directions, one thing I knew for sure, and both of us was in agreement, our children were not going to suffer that. And I felt that way as well. I felt like if I have to stay at home or if I have to do it myself, I will do it myself before it was just of the utmost importance.
But I'll say this too, though, Mama Noise. And I've never said this publicly, but I'm gonna say it now. I appreciate what you did and the sacrifice that you made. I for sure appreciate it. But I could have, and it wasn't an absent. I was never an absentee father, nor was I ever a father that wasn't participating or trying to do my best. But even having done my best, I think I could have done better. Looking back on it, I could have done better. There are things mistakes that I made, and I think I could have been more engaged in some things, more present at home, which is what I tried to do the second time around. You can get caught in a false level of ambition and not really understand or prioritize what should be the most important thing, which is making sure that this child has everything he or she needs. You know what I mean? And I think there was a little bit of a season there. Fortunately, I did break out of it relatively quickly, but at the same time, there was a season there where I could have done better. I could have been way, way more better than that. And that's the challenge of ambition. Ambition does come with sacrifice, but it should never come with slaughter. And a lot of times, ambition comes with slaughter. I've heard Michael Jordan talk about it. He said I was a horrible father.
Oh.
He said, that's what I thought I had to do to become the greatest basketball player of all time. So he slaughtered his kids to become the greatest basketball player of all time. So they had to find their way. And to the most part, it seems like they did. I mean, you don't hear a lot about the Jordan kids not being publicly, you don't hear a lot about them being imbalanced, although privately you've heard rumors that they had some issues or whatever. And that would make sense. And to the same point of that, Kobe, who was a student of Jordan, learned from Jordan that was the wrong choice to make. And he refused to slaughter his girls that way. And he was a self-proclaimed girl dad.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and still is on par as one of the best to ever do it. So you don't have to Jay's point, you don't have to slaughter your kids and leave them in the street to become the greatest of whatever you want to become great. You can have, it's just about balance and working together. Now, I think that's the part that's tricky though. You got to have somebody that's willing to work with you and respect you as both wife and husband, which is what Tara's point is. She had she was married to a guy who sucked as a husband, but he was a good father. But to me, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, you got to try to be both.
Yeah.
You can't choose one or the other. I'm gonna be a good dad, but I'm gonna suck as a husband. No, you got to be both. Or I'm gonna be a good mama, but I'm gonna suck as a wife. That's not how family should work. It should work where we're both trying. We understand the totality of the assignment, and I think one of the reasons why it doesn't work a lot of times is because we don't really truly have those conversations at the start of the courtship. We don't get into that. So we just having sex and making each other feel good and climax. And by the time we get to that part of the conversation, we 3-4 years into the marriage but it comes out as a yell as opposed to a dialogue.
Mm.
And that's where the challenge, I think, lies in a lot of this. But I'll yield the floor now.
Well, and then also the kids are looking to parents as how to be. You know, daughters are looking to the mothers as how to be a wife. Sons are looking to their fathers as how to be a husband. You're supposed to be the example. So how you gonna decide, you know what, I don't want to be a good spouse, I want to be a good parent? And it's like, okay, but then did you just show your child how to be a bad spouse, even though you show them that you're a good parent?
To your point, I want to ask you, Jay and Al, a question. Do you raise, and Ron, if since Ron and everybody else in the chat, I'll ask all of you, do you raise the temperament that you are in your child?
Do
you raise the temperament that you are in your child? In other words, Tara said she has a short fuse.
Oh,
well, do you raise that in your child?
Well, it's not, I don't think it's raising, but your child will emulate, mimic, not only your physical characteristics and traits, but as well as your emotional. So if you are a short-tempered person, there's a likelihood that your children are going to emulate that. If you are an argumentative person, there's a likelihood that your kids are going to emulate or mimic that. So
which is why I use
that we raise the temperament in our kids. I'll tell you, Jeremiah is just like his daddy. Hot head, short temper, just like his daddy.
Okay. And that's why I asked the question. And that's why I use the statement I use, because I think raising kids is both a tangible, active moment and also an abstract reality. In other words, they're going to do what they see and they're going to do what I said. If they see me consistently doing the right things, they'll follow. It'll become second nature to them to do what they've seen. But if they hear me saying something one thing but doing something totally different, then they'll also gravitate to that reality as well.
I don't think, and this is me, and I know Tara has said differently several times in the chat, and maybe you guys have too, but I don't think you can be a great parent in a household with your spouse and not be a great spouse. There's not a boy alive that doesn't want to see his mother loved and cared for. You can tell that boy you love him 101 times, 101 different ways. But if he sees you having a negative impact on mama, you are affecting that boy in a negative way. So I don't think it's about, I love my son, I love my son, I love my daughter, but I can't stand the mama. I don't think that goes together. The kids come from the mama. Fool, you have an obligation to treat her with respect. Because no matter how mad kids get at mom or how whatever they are with mom, they love mom. Now, they may respect dad. They may even love dad. Who knows? Shit, hell. But they love mom. So you can't, I don't think you can isolate your love for your child and be dismissive or hurtful to the mom.
But to that same point, and separation is a whole nother conversation. That may need to be its own show altogether. Because I agree with Ron. No boy wants to see his mom go through hell, and no child. I don't say boy. No child wants to see their mom go through hell.
Right.
So every child would rather the parent, the mother leave, or the father leave, because sometimes his mother's putting the father through hell. It could be the other way around. You don't want to see your parents divorced, but at the same time, kids aren't stupid, and they know when a parent is doing something to another parent that is not right, and they just say, "Listen, mom or dad, this ain't working. I love y'all, and I'm gonna love y'all, but Lord have mercy, y'all are a disaster together." Like you just, and I think, going back to Tamika's statement, she said, he saw what he was calling dad and her not getting along. And so the son was like, "Mom, I'm gonna ride with you. If you feel like you need to go, then I'm gonna ride with you on that." But he also said, "But I'll see dad later." You know what I mean? So that was his way of kind of saying, "I still love dad, even though y'all can't seem to get along." So it's a tricky thing, man.
That's why, in part, Mr. Noise, and I know you disagree with it, defenders of the earth and all the little bullshit that y'all be talking, but that's why I believe men have to make the ultimate sacrifice for their family. I don't mean death now. I ain't talking about dying.
What are you talking about?
But I do believe you have to deny self for the healthiness and the wholeness of your family.
What does that mean? Deny self. What does that mean?
Well, you and mama are not seeing eye to eye.
Okay.
You can be determined to win that, or you can say, "You know what? She's right, I'm wrong." And keep the peace in your home. Because in the final analysis, that in which we argue about, we really don't really remember what the hell we were arguing about. The arguments are not the issue, but you're tearing hearts up with those arguments.
So you're saying a guy should stay, barring the crossing over of the one line that he's established, I guess. The guy should just stay? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I believe the greatest example you can show a child, your daughter or your son, is that as dad, I fought for my family. Physically, mentally, whatever you want to call it, I fought for my family. I stayed, though I disagree with this or felt this way about that, or that shit, I don't even know how to put it. That to me is just the greatest example of manhood. That's why I'm oftentimes so willing to deny self, and I say it on here, but I always get throwback. I don't give a shit. We as men have to understand our purpose, and our purpose is to build our family and not build we ourselves.
Should a man build a family? Or I asked that wrong. I apologize. Can a man build his family, what you said, and still not be married to the wife?
Well, let me hold on to yours. Sean asked a question in there, and I wanna. You see it?
I see what he said, but I'm sticking with what I asked. We'll get to Sean's question in a minute. You may answer Sean's question in the way you answer mine.
Sean's question sounds more interesting.
It wasn't. It's as interesting. It's as interesting. But you're just trying to escape my question. Stop trying to escape my question.
What was your question?
Can a man still be honorable to his family and, like you said, raise the family or be there for the family, but not be married to his wife or baby mama, whatever you want to call it?
Okay, in those cases where that works, and I do believe that there are cases where it works, there's still a lot of denying of self. We have to let go of a whole lot in order for those blended situations to work.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We have to put down a whole lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but pick up the cross and follow the Lord, because that's not an easy thing to do.
Right. And the reason why I asked that question, Jay, is because I think, this is my humble opinion, even when the marriage breaks down, you still have a responsibility to honor both the wife and the children. It does that child no good for you to bash the mother or treat the mother like, listen, go back in the chat and read what Tara said about, her daughter, 24 years old. She saw her dad, even though she thinks her dad is a king. She sees her dad treating women like not the right way. That's shameful. That's shameful. You can't have it. And so what the child ultimately walks away with is some measure of confusion that she ultimately is going to have to sort out. She got to figure that out, because the same dude that treats her like a king, also she's witnessing him treating other women, not including her mother, not the same way. So that's not good. That can't be good. Whereas other men that I know who are co-parenting, I see them stepping up and respecting the mom, trying to be there for the mom, trying to provide for the child, trying to be an example for the child. And I think that honoring of the mom, despite the breakdown of the marriage, is maybe more critically important, because it sends a message to the child that though the marriage did not work, I still ultimately am responsible for treating this black woman, and I'm gonna say black woman because that's what the theme of the thing is. But I'm ultimately responsible for treating this black woman with honor and respect, despite the fact that this thing has broken down. And by the way, vice versa. That woman should still try to treat that man with respect, despite how emotionally angry she may be, despite what may have broken the marriage down. Especially in front of those children, there probably needs to be a presence of good, example for that child or for those children. So now we get to Sean's question. Sean said, how can that be good, Jay? Going back to, I guess, something he said. And he says, if she emasculated him and he has sons, but he stays, how can that be good for the son?
Oh, wow.
That's a great question.
Ouch.
Listen.
Great question.
I hate to be, or do I want to address these conversations? But I have someone in my house doing some work, looking at some stuff for me right quick.
Okay.
But I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. So I'll try to answer that question. I'm no cuz, but I do the best I can. He says, if she emasculated him and he has sons, but he stays, how can that be good for the son? Well, the truth of the matter is, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not good for the sons. And just to say what Ron said, faking a family unit is not a positive example for a kid. I 1000% agree. There needs to be authenticity at all times in the family dynamic of what you have. And I think we got to get to the root of why that is taking place. And listen, part of that may be his fault.
I was gonna say,
because he, as a man, you do have to step up and be a good man and be a strong man. Not say it's not necessarily domineering or whatever, but you got to stand up for yourself and be like, hey, you listen, you don't need to talk to me that way, So
I was gonna say, how to get to that point from the beginning? Was he being emasculated during the dating process, and then got married and became even more emasculated, then had children, and then now you want to be concerned about the emasculation?
Well, it's right. It's a challenge, man. You can't be bad to each other and be bad for each other. Does that make sense? And a lot of times we're doing all of it. We're being bad to each other and we're being bad for each other. Mm-hmm. And we think people and more specifically our children aren't paying attention, when the truth is they're absolutely paying attention.
Everything.
They're watching everything we do. Even and sometimes some of the stuff they may never tell you about. They may never say it to you. They may never give you the true picture of how, I did an exercise in the pandemic. Mm-hmm. We had a family meeting. And I did an exercise that scared the bejesus out of me. And I'll share this with everybody. This is one of those full disclosure moments. And I asked my wife and my children, how do you think I'm doing as a father and a husband? Now, full disclosure, you don't know how that answer is going to go. And I said, you can say whatever it is you want to say. It can listen, I just got to take it. But I wanted to know, how was I doing? And I was thankful that I wasn't as bad as I thought I was. Because I thought there were maybe some areas that I was going to get kind of deemed for. And I did a little bit. But well, not even a little bit. I got deemed in one area quite a bit. But I understood why I got deemed in that area. And I was aware of, that particular thing. And basically, just to full disclosure, it was just, being too busy. Sometimes I get so caught up in the work that I just get busy and consumed with that work that I don't take breaks. And I don't, I'm all hours of the night, all hours of the day. I'm just going. And they needed me to be present more in some areas. And so I had to do better balance. Ross said he was told he was an asshole. Okay. And I would challenge you, men and women, to ask that question, or if you have children, have that conversation and tell your child that they have the right to be fully open and transparent with you. You can't be mad and in your feelings when they give you what they give you, because you want to know. You want to know. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good husband, and so I'm gotta ask the tough questions. And so Kieta hit me with some tough stuff, and she was like, "Well, one thing you could do better is this and listening and this, that, and the other." And I recognize that. And so I think it's important to ask those tough questions. But I think when we're afraid to find out the truth about who and how we're seen, then it's hard to make those corrections. And it goes back to what I said a minute ago. You can't be being emasculated is a sign of not, to me, is a sign of not truly dealing with the undercurrent issues of your marriage. Something's not being talked about in an
I was gonna say, how did it come to this place where Did she feel like she needed to step up in an area that he wasn't stepping up in, where it looks like, you know, that's what's going on, or what? I'm trying to understand the emasculation.
Well, a lot of times I think emasculation comes from one person's trauma of having to be strong, or historically living through somebody who had to be strong. Like maybe their mom had to be strong, and so you're seeing traits in this man that are similar to the man your mama married, or whatever. It could be a lot of different concepts or thoughts that go along with how we arrive at that place. But the truth of it all is, you got to sit down together and have an honest dialogue about all of that.
Yeah,
you can't be faking the funk on something like that, and that may be one of the reasons why some Black women are abandoning or not all in on Black men being in their lives like that, because they're saying maybe they feel like Black men don't have the capacity to be both physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally strong for them. And that may be true. There may be that deficiency going on in our society where these Black men are not having the capacity to be all four of those things for their wives. What are your thoughts on that, Mama Noise?
Wow. The capacity of all these things for their wives.
Well, or each other. We're not having the capacity to be all those things for each other.
Well, then I'm just wondering, was this emasculation going on during the dating process, and now it's only an issue because you got some sons?
Well, I'm not just speaking specifically about just the emasculation, Mama Noise. I'm talking about the emasculation being a result of our inability as Black men to be emotionally, to be mentally, to be physically, and to be mentally strong for our families. Maybe we lack the capacity to be able to do so because of whatever historical issues that we may be bringing into the marriage, and our inability to recognize those instabilities is a problem.
Okay.
All right. So I'm back. I'm Black and I'm pissed off.
Oh.
Okay. Wow. I'm not sure why, but okay.
Just thought I'd say it. Okay. Listen, demasculation, cutting them off at the balls.
Oh, well.
Making them feel less than has more to do with her brokenness than it does him.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it is because she was raised in an environment where mom had to do. There was no man. She's taken on a lot of those traits of do. Then on top of that, she's gone and gotten her some education on top of her do attitude. Now here comes along a guy that may not be that do guy. He's a good guy. He's a loving guy. He's a working guy. But he may not be the do. And if you were raised in that dysfunctional environment of woman did everything, sometimes women can become very demeaning to a man. Very condescending. Because now I'm the breadwinner, I'm the doer, and you're not. I'm the one that bought this. I'm the one that did this. I'm the one that did that. Well, really what you're telling that man is over and over and over again, I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you.
Okay.
And some would even say, I don't need you. The problem with that is that's all outwardly a lie. But it has to be dealt with from the inside. So now he has a choice. Am I going to allow her to push me away with her brokenness? or am I going to stay and fight and win? In so many scenarios, men are to their core fighters. They're winners. Whether it be on the football field, the basketball field, the baseball field, life, dominoes, spades, we are all about winning until it comes to fighting for a broken woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you know what?
Then we're willing to say, but you are demasculating me. You are putting me down, and this can't be healthy for the kids to see. Well, you still have to stand and be a man. But you can't take her dysfunction personally. You just can't.
Well, I don't know if I disagree with what you just said about that part, but I like what Tara said, because I'm not out there, so I don't know. I've never dated anybody in their 40s other than the wife that I already have. So I don't know. But she's saying these guys in their 40s now and 50s or whatever, they are saying what you see is what you get. And I'm not changing. And I'm not available for all this hoopla and whoop the hoop and whoop the wop. And I'm not going to do none of that. So is part of this issue that that we're talking about right now, two people who just have settled into their, if I can say it this way, their second lives, and they have an incapacity to change. I'm not going to change because I am who I am at this point. So why would I change?
Who is that? The man or the woman?
That's both.
Okay.
Because if you're saying she's emasculating him, and that's because of her issues, and he's saying, well, I am what I am, and I refuse to change. Well, how can you build something substantive if everybody is decided this is who I am? And I've become some of us put on the trauma suit and we break it in like a new pair of shoes, and we get comfortable in it and don't want to change.
And some of us put on victim suits and we victimize ourselves unnecessarily.
Well, and some of those suits are one and the same. That's my point. Yeah, we're saying the same thing, but some of those suits are one and the same. I've gone through stuff, and how long do you keep going through it? Like at some point, don't you have to not go through it?
I mean, but that's for the healthy folks to say. It's not for those that are still broken to say.
I feel you, but I'm going to make a statement that's probably going to be the most inflammatory of the night. And I think I may have stumbled into something tonight, a discovery, if you will. Maybe the reason why Black women and Black men are not connecting is because we can't get out of our own way through our own circumstances to see each other for what we have been and what we can be. Like I would venture to say, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Most Black men and Black women who are single and in their 40s and up, 30, well, I'll say 30s and up, they have probably gone through some type of something, right? So when they finally meet someone who is equally single but has issues, do they now have the capacity to look past the pain and trauma that they themselves have gone through? look past the pain and trauma that the person that they like has gone through, and then try to build from that place.
I think that's
not an easy thing to do.
It's very hard to do the older you get.
And therein lies what I think is the challenge, because societally, man, we don't have a lot of people who have not gone through things in the Black community. Who are these people that have led these cheery lives of joy and bliss, and they're just single because they're single? Not very few of them. I'm sure you know, we don't like to use the word all on this show, but I would say the high percentage of people that have gone through something is probably well up into the upper 90s.
What do you mean going through something?
Whatever it is, either they've experienced their own personal trauma, they are the results of some trauma, they've had dating horrors, they've had something going on in their lives.
You saying men are single because of trauma that they've gone through?
I think men and women, black men and black women, are maybe single. I'm theorizing. I'm theorizing. They may be single because of their inabilities to push through past their own personal trauma and past the trauma of the person that they like. So you're in a bar. I'm gonna use this scenario. You're in a bar or you're in a restaurant and you meet someone that you are physically attracted to. Chances are that person, before they ever open their mouth to speak, is a person who has experienced some measure of emotional, mental, spiritual, or psychological trauma. Probably. I ain't gonna say 100%, but it's probably 9.5%. It's pretty high. And so if that's where you're starting the relationship, the interaction, the meeting point, do you have the first question that you almost have to ask yourself in that dating process is, do I have enough in me, stability in me, to push past my past experiences and their past experiences to build something healthy and meaningful? Because that's what you're saying.
I agree.
I don't understand what the hell you're saying.
Okay, let me break it down even further for the slow in the room. Jesus. Okay. This man shows up at the bar. He done been divorced and got 2 kids by a baby mama that he ain't getting along with. She comes to the bar and she's divorced.
And that was trauma for him. And that was trauma for him.
Could have been. If they're divorced, they went through something, right? They went through something. So whatever that experience, trauma doesn't have to be debilitating always. Trauma can just be the experience in and of itself. But sometimes it is debilitating. But my point is, he's gone through whatever he's gone through. And his view of women has been greatly shaped by that previous experience. Now, she shows up at the bar with not a similar experience, but a different one, but of equal ilk. Maybe she never married the baby daddy, but they were together a long time and it broke down and didn't work out. Now, these 2 people meet up at a bar, physically attracted to each other, but not yet recognizing that in order to build from this physical attraction into something greater, if that is their desire, they're going to have to eventually, at some point, get past that physical attraction into psychological, emotional, and mental ish that's going to push them into a potential relationship. They have to do it. And that might be the reason why we're not seeing these relationships come together. More so than the personal independence of black women, it may just be we're not equipped to get past all of the shit that we've gone through to build something substantive.
Wow. I just think when you
Thank you, Dr. Harrison. I knew it would take a doctor to understand what I was saying.
No, it does not. But I was gonna, I knew coming into a relationship with you that I was gonna, I needed to have counseling because I knew I had been through some things in my life and I wanted to see it be a success. So I wasn't afraid. I think that sometimes we in other words, in our culture, we keep hearing the word mental health and stuff like that, then we go, oh my gosh, that's something's wrong with me. I don't want to be the one to say something's wrong with me or whatever. I don't want to. That's what we've been taught. Mental health, trying to get counseling and stuff is just like, oh, that's negative. You're a weak person if you get counseling or you talk about mental health. You're a weak person. But listen, that's not true at all. I agree with Tara. There's both people have to agree that that's something that you both want to work on. It's got to be something that both people want to work on, or that at least, they got to at least try. If you come in acting like you got it all figured out and the other person is trying to, get their life together, they're trying to get counseling and stuff, but you got it all figured out. I think it takes a joint effort.
All right, cuz I know you squinting up your mouth like you don't agree. What do you not agree with?
Told you I have vertigo when I make them old faces.
I know this was a vertigo moment. I apologize, sir.
Going through. Listen, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I think I have finally recognized after all these years I must be a goat. I never really considered myself that, but now I have come to the understanding. I am one bad motherfucker.
Oh my God. And what makes you so, sir?
Because I have been in a relationship for a long time.
Okay.
Been with this here gal since I was 20 years old, and I'm now 53. Same piece of poo-poo all these years later.
Okay.
As the song say, I'm not tired yet. But I don't understand from a male standpoint this trauma that you're talking about. Especially if it's coming from relationships. Now, parents have a huge impact on kids' lives. And before a young man can be formed into manhood, what you do to him matters. And I believe that 100%. What you do to her matters. But after you leave out of mom and daddy's house and life starts to happen to you, well, maybe you didn't have a dad in there to tell you about life happening to you. But how you form an opinion of women from a bad relationship, I don't understand. I don't get that. I honestly don't get that.
You don't get that?
I don't get that, because as men, we have to understand. Man, I guess I'm just built different. We have to understand the brokenness of people. And we got to stop internalizing so much and taking so much on as if we are victims of it. We're not. I know I'm not. And I've been married to a crazy ass woman for a long time.
Why she gotta be crazy? Because she married to you?
She crazy as a Bessie bug. You better listen to me. She crazy.
What is a Bessie bug?
I don't allow that to affect me. I am the affecter. I'm the man. So it's my job to continue to reach out to her, to lift her up and tear down those barriers, tear down those walls. And until we as men get that, the woman, I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean it like this, but the woman's playing victim, the man's playing victim, everybody got the panties in a wad. No wonder we can't survive.
By the way, this is a Bessie bug. I didn't realize that just now.
That's a bee.
No wonder we can't survive. No, nobody's looking forward to the future and the building of. Everybody's right now. You.
I know. Ron is like, what?
Hey, listen, I don't give a damn. I'm telling you. you have to, as a man, stand up and be a man. I get so disgusted when I see men beating their chests and grabbing their cross, talking about, I'm a man, I'm a man. Well, shit, you need to understand the characteristics of manhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously you got it twisted.
Got it twisted.
We're so confused now as men. We going left and farther left.
Mm-hmm. Well,
as convoluted as what you just said was, I think I kind of understand what you're trying to say. It was a little convoluted. I think I probably call bullshit on it just because I don't know if it's as simple as you trying to make it out to be. Because you're assuming that all manhood is defined by perseverance only, and reconciliation has no bearing in that. And I don't know if I believe that, because I think
no. Your ultimate goal is reconciliation, but until you get there, you stay.
But I'm talking about self-reconciliation. I think part of the reason why most men suck at being men because there's no self-reconciliation. You ain't resolved ish that is going on in your own heart, and you suck. So how can you help somebody if you can't help yourself? If you suck at being a man for yourself, you can't be a man for nobody else.
mm-hmm.
That's all I was saying. That's why I called BS.
I was raised in church, and some of the things that I caught on to, you have to be careful who you allow your kids to be around. They pick up things without necessarily knowing that they're going to pick it up. And though I did a lot of messing around in church, every now and then I listened. The Bible talks often about denying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is a huge part of manhood. We do it all the time in many different ways. We do it all the time in so many different ways. But these are smaller, more acceptable ways, I guess.
Unknown caller.
But in the situation of fighting for a woman, we refuse to really do it.
I understand what you're saying, but my challenge of what you're saying is that you're assuming that men know how to fight at all. So listen, I'm gonna be honest. Listen, I'm just telling my journey. I think my capacity to fight for my wife came from my capacity to know how to fight for myself. To reconcile all the stuff in me, or not all, but a lot of the stuff in me that was wrong. That wrong thinking, wrong philosophies, wrong concepts. To deal with that, personally deal with that and say, man, you can't live, you can't be a man and think this way. So that way, when she needed me, when I met her and she needed me to be the man she needed me to be, I had the capacity to do it. And if I had to guess, I'm not speaking for you because I know how much you love that. I'm saying you probably did something similar because you understood that the sacrifice it was going to. Yes, you did, nigga. Yes, you did. Because you understood that the sacrifice.
It doesn't matter if Mama Noise is nodding her head. I'm telling you, no.
You can say no all you want, but we know it's not true.
You still speaking for me, though. You still speaking.
I am speaking for you because you're not going to tell the truth.
Story, and I promise you, I'll tell mine.
You're not going to tell the truth though, because the truth of the matter is, because now you're going to run from the screen. The truth of the matter is, cuz said, and I know his story. He sacrificed for that woman. He gave that woman everything he had and fought for that woman. And I think he fought from a place of his love and respect for who she was and who she could be, and his understanding of who he was as a man. So how's that? So why am I wrong for that? That's not true. Cuz why you running from the screen?
There was no reconciliation with myself.
You may not want to call it that. You can call it whatever you want to suit your little funky argument that you're trying to make. But the truth of the matter is, you dealt with whatever you dealt with to understand what manhood really was.
Okay.
Now, if you want to call it something else, that's fine. Call it whatever you want. Call it one McDonald's. Call it a road trip to Discovery. I don't care what you call it, but you're gonna end up at the same place.
I got married at a very young age. Oh, I consider it young. It wasn't that young. But I got married at a young age. And I already knew what manhood was. I went through a relationship that nearly destroyed me physically and mentally. I never thought about killing myself. Don't misunderstand me. I ain't that type of Negro.
Right.
But I went through with that relationship. And I never took any of that pain to my next relationship because I understood what that was.
Wait, stop right there.
In fact,
you understood what was. You understood what was.
In fact, when my mother, when God, as folks say, God rest her soul.
I don't like to deal with this question.
When my mother tried to come for the young lady and speak ill of her, I was a young man, 19 years old, and I told Mama then, I said, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to put her down because of the choices she made. From the brokenness that she had. You can't do that. I was 19 years old. I told Mama that.
Okay.
So I don't know if I ever had to reconcile. Like I said, I think I'm just a goat. I think I'm just the baddest mother walking.
You're not. You're not. You reconciled all of that.
Manhood. I believe in manhood. That's me.
But that's not true. You reconciled what she went through and recognized that she was not completely, though she made mistakes, there were things that you learned from her that you took to the next relationship. That's called reconciliation, sir. Whether you want to call it that or not, that's up to you. But that's what it is.
Okay.
I mean, goodness gracious, can a brother I'm trying to give you some credit and you don't even want the credit.
Because I don't understand what you're saying. I'm slow.
You are slow. That the Mississippi is shining through right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's more crooked letter than it is humpback. I ain't gonna lie to you right now. But I'm just simply saying the reconciliation to me is about learning the lessons and of the mistakes made. Whether you made the mistakes or mistakes were made with you, doesn't matter. They have to be learned in order to not keep making them. Otherwise, you just keep making them.
I agree.
So that's reconciliation. Then you agree that you reconcile.
I'm just agreeing so you move on.
I can't stand you. I can't. Why? Why are we, I guess, but my bigger point was, I think that may be at the core of why black men and black women can't come together, because it's hard to connect two people. And I heard Tara saying, and even Dr. Harrison, she's saying, some of these brothers don't want to come together. They don't want to come together and admit that they got some issues. And I agree with that.
Issues ain't the point. Immaturity is the point.
But immaturity
talking about. Men don't walk around with all those issues and carry them all in their heart like women do. We don't do that.
No, men don't acknowledge the shit that they carrying around. That's the difference.
We shoot a nut, we move on.
But that's the problem. Men don't acknowledge that there's issues. They just keep burying it down like old garbage.
I'm the type person. I know counseling is important, but I just don't believe in all of the psychobabble. Grow the hell up and be a man to that woman and to your child.
And how do you propose they do that?
Grow the hell up.
By how? By what method?
Stop making it about you.
So they're just supposed to have this epiphany over eggs and say, you know what, I need to grow up.
Well, that's what you say you did. You reconcile with yourself and say, you know what?
I didn't say that. I didn't say I just set up over some eggs and figured it out. I spent some time with me and dealt with me. I think you got to deal with yourself, whether you go through counseling, whether you do it through meditation, honest meditation, whether you go to your pastor or talk to a homeboy that's going to give you the real. You got to figure out how you're going to get there.
However you get there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying you can't people just don't take you got to get there somehow. You get there.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I accept that.
And our willingness to do it and then help the next person do it is probably more so than anything else that we've talked about, is probably going to determine whether or not you're going to be in a long-term relationship or not.
So why do you think so many men, in your opinion, don't do it?
It's a great question. I think part of it is because, and I go back to what you said, I agree 100%. Some of it's just basic immaturity. Some of it is basic selfishness.
Boom.
Because and what I mean by selfishness, there are so many women out here to each man that a lot of men don't feel like they have to. Let's just be honest. They don't feel like they have to. They don't have to. They don't feel like they have to. I agree with you, Tara. There's a toxic masculinity ideology that is really permeating society, right? Permeating throughout our society right now. That is really bad. It's probably it's probably the worst now that it's probably ever been. Like I
don't know about that.
Well, the reason why I say that is because I've talked to some guys that are in our generation.
Okay.
And like Al B. I've talked to Al B. and others, that are single like that. And they have all said to me, Lord, it's worse now than it ever has been. They've said getting a woman now is far easier than it ever has been. And I said, well, why? And they said, because you don't have to put the work in. Well, if you have now, I remember the work. I had to court Mama Noise. Even though we had a phenomenal first day, I still had to court her. I'm using old school word. I had to court that woman and work to get her. If she didn't just offer herself up to me like, I'm gonna be yours and you ain't gotta do nothing. They ain't gave me. No, I had to put some work in. Whereas now, because the numbers have dramatically changed for a myriad of reasons, whether it's toxic masculinity, where there's conversion over to the alphabet group, whatever it is, prison, whatever it is, the numbers have dramatically changed to where the good guys don't have to be good guys anymore.
Wow.
They don't have to work that hard to get this woman, because this woman recognizes that her chances of getting a good guy ain't what it used to be.
Mr. Noise, were you willing to work hard for Mama Noise because of the standards she set for you, or because of the standards you had for yourself?
It was both. Honestly, it was both. She had a standard and I had a standard. And
so thankfully, if you had come across a looser woman,
I did come across.
No. I'm talking about where you were. I don't mean back then. I'm not talking about back then. I'm talking about where you were back then.
No. Listen.
A looser woman, would you have still been the previous Lord, or would you have been the Lord you wanted to be?
Well, see, I'm glad you asked that question, because that's actually when I knew that I had changed, because the previous Lloyd would have taken advantage of the looser woman, but the mature Lloyd decided, listen, regardless of your looseness, I don't want that. I'm not looking for that anymore. I'm looking for something real. And so I was able to turn down some that the previous Lloyd would have been like, We going in.
Hey, don't make no faces, Mama Noise. Just turn your head. You could have got what you wanted in that relationship too, if you wanted it. But because you wanted to be a man and you said, we're going to wait. I'm going to do the right thing by this one. That's the stage you set for your marriage.
Well, but she said it too.
I know, but a lot of it, well, some of it, not all of it, Mama Noise. Turn your head now. Don't do that. Some of it was because she was following the example you wanted to set.
I agree. Okay. Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. But I guess what I'm saying is, you asked the question of why are men doing what they're doing?
Why
and
I think not making that choice to change.
Why they're not making that choice? And I think because societally things have shifted so dramatically. Like I've had guys tell me, I've had some of my single friends say they don't have to take girls out to dinner no more. They do not have to do that in order to book panties. They do not have to do that. They do not have to court these women. They do not have to bring forth a massive 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month-long effort. They can book it in a night sometimes.
So we're
but
all
these guys are called simps when they do that type of thing. When they want to be kind and they're trying to bring flowers and court.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He's a simp. Or like that one woman whose video we watched, I think last week, the one lady who like 5 steps, TikTok or something like that. That was like, now she wanted to go back to her. Remember we talked about the Sigma, the Beta, and Alpha male. Well, she was like, now I wish I'd have, I wouldn't have turned down my Sigma male or my Beta male and all that stuff. The guy was trying to be a gentleman. The guy was trying to be kind. The guy was trying to show her the right way the way he feels that a lady should be treated. And she was like, he's just too soft. He ain't hard enough. He ain't this and he ain't that. Well, then you got what you wanted. You got the roughneck. You got the one that talk crazy to you, one that would grab you up in your collar and call you out your name and stuff. And now you're saying, dang, at least the Sigma dude, Beta dude didn't talk to me like that. He might not have been as bad as I thought he was. So it's like men are put in an awkward position.
Well, I don't know if men are put in an awkward position.
If they accept it, Mama Noise, you're right. They are put in an awkward position if they walk around here accepting those positions.
Trying to be the good guy.
I didn't accept it.
Well, I listen, I'm not going to change who I am.
All right.
To become what she thinks I should be.
There you go.
Does that make sense? Like in that scenario, if you looking for the bad boy, you most certainly can go have him.
No.
I'm not going to become the bad boy.
No, because I want her, I'm going to show her the benefit of me. I'm not going to tell her you can go have that bad boy. I want you, so I'm going to show you who I am. Now, you can make a sound decision versus that bullshit you believe it in your head.
Well, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I guess what the reason why I said it the way I said it is because I don't want it to ever be that I have to become this like the best example other than myself and other than the two gentlemen on the screen that I could give you is like we always talk about Russell Wilson. Russell said, I'm Russell Wilson. This is who I am. Now you've been with an asshole over here. If you want to continue to do that, you can do that. But this is who I am. And if you think that's worth staying with, then come stay over. I'm gonna treat you like the queen I think you deserve to be.
I mean,
so that to me that has nothing to do with her standard.
And be willing to get to all because they be talking cash crazy about him, and he's like, "This is who I am." So no matter who don't like it, and other men be trying to bash him and stuff because he treats his woman the way he treats her. I mean, so what? You ain't married to them. Let them go on about their business. And it must really, you know what? I've never said it here publicly, but I always love the show, The Pivot, the podcast, The Pivot. But I hate the way Channing I hate the way he comes for Russell Wilson all the time. It's like, dude, what do you want to be like him? You want to be a member of his fan club? Why are you always trying to bash that man for the way he treats his wife? Do you not treat your wife the same way? Do you feel like she don't deserve it because of the type of relationship?
Who are you talking about? Dick Cheney?
No, Channing Crowder, the football player who's on the podcast with the Pivot.
I mean, it's like it's because of who Sierra was with before, or relationships she's had before, or whatever. He don't think she's worthy of having somebody treat her like that, or whatever. I don't know, but he need to deal with his issues, because it's
that man, in my opinion, is doing exactly what I talk about often. He doesn't give a damn what people are saying about him. He's denying what most men consider to be important, my ego. He's denying that. Don't give a damn. You call me a simp, a chimp, a chump, a punk, I don't give a damn what you call me. I got the woman I want. And I love her until death do us part. Now, that's just how I am.
Right. I think that's the way it has to be if we're going to make it work. But I also think for her to stay in there and not, she also has to block out the noise as well, and not get caught up in the ghost of her past.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta be with a bad boy. I gotta be with somebody with a little more swag or whatever. What does that even mean? Like, what do you want him to do? He's supposed to beat your ass? Like, what exactly are you looking for? If that ain't a good example of what a good man is, then what are you looking for?
I agree, but his unforgiving strength makes it easier for her.
If she's willing to receive it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to be willing to receive it.
Yeah.
And not be shaky in her belief or because Shannon tried to allude that, and even I think even her Future said, and other toxic black men say, well, she's just with him for now, but at some point it's not gonna work. Well, why wouldn't it work? The only reason it wouldn't work is if you haven't dealt with your personal issues as it relates to this darker area of your character. And if you think that you got to be disrespected in order to be loved, then you're right. It's not going to work, because he's not going to do that.
Well, and then also they got to stop letting other people determine. Look, other people ain't the ones.
I don't think they are, Mama Noor. I don't think they are letting people do anything. I think people just be putting their mouth on their relationship, and they think that their opinions matter when they really don't.
Because they are unhappy.
Because they are unhappy.
Okay.
And I also think, now here's the other part. Y'all ready for this? I think Shanning's real fear is that his wife would want to require that from him.
Okay, now I get it.
Because maybe there's some Russell Wilson-like qualities that she wants him to have. The relationship with God, the maybe softer approach to certain.
He's steadfast. He's true to her.
Steadfast is the softer approach. Listen, women definitely want good sex. I think we all want that. But also, women want emotional presence. They want you to be there when they need you there. They want you to be mentally there. They want you to be patient. They want you to have character. They want you to be a person of your word. There's other requirements. And so maybe the fear is he don't have those other requirements. And so that's where he thinks makes him corny.
I think he got low self-esteem.
So
that's what I'm saying, Mama Noor. Yeah.
One of the things that stops a man from fighting to death do us part is ego. His ego want to continue to allow him to bump his head up against a wall for a woman, because there's too many other women out there. So I'm not going to stay here and fight for you. Even though I said I love you and I promised to love you to death do us part, I'm not going to continue to do that, because my ego is at risk, if you will. When do we say bump the ego? And I believe Russell has done that, because what he's going through is in the media, it's in the public eye, and that's worse than what's done behind your closed doors.
Right.
So he has said, listen, bump all that. Who cares? I love, her name is Sierra, right?
Sierra, yeah.
Every time I look at it, I see why. I see why. I see why. I see why. Ooh, Jesus.
Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Help us.
There's that. Thank you for that, Sean. I didn't know that. I never.
No, when you listen to him talk about, he's always bringing up their sexual relationship and this, that, and the other, as if that's his ability to please her sexually is the pinnacle of his ability to be a man. And someone that goes to that as their go-to a lot is probably an insecure, broken man.
Oh, well, I mean, I could tell he was insecure when, this is not shade, but I'm saying all this time, he's never been concerned about his image. And I mean image meaning he got these, teeth that look like they've been sawed off or something like that with sand down. That's the kind of teeth he has. So then somebody said, hey, man, I went and got my teeth, I went and had this procedure or whatever done, and she's the best that does it, blah, blah, blah. And they said, he's like, really, whatever. So he went to go see this particular dentist, and she made his teeth look like new money. And now he's like, man, chicks that ain't never been checking for a brother, now they trying to holler at your boy and all this stuff. Boy, did you do it for yourself? Did you do it for your wife? Did it for somebody to start checking for you? So that told me that, clearly he has some low self-esteem.
Well, he better reconcile it before it becomes the death of his relationship, because it will become the death of your relationship. And that's why I was saying I use the word reconcile, because, man, you got. I think a lot of us think debt will just eventually disappear.
What we say, debt?
Debt.
Okay.
What we owe ourselves will just eventually just disappear. We don't ever have to deal with that.
Well, to that point, and I don't disagree with that. I think we should have to deal with it. But at some point, we will also have to say that which has happened to us happened. And I don't understand why. And maybe it's not supposed to be understood on this side. Some healing has to take place on the other side. That's totally
true. So but that's not as much as we think it is. But that's not as much as we think it is. You're 1,000% correct. But there are some things, nigga, you can deal with that. You can call yourself the asshole that you were in that relationship. You did not treat that woman properly, or you did not treat that situation properly, and you can say that and say, I can do better in this. Or you can say, I was not treated properly, and here are the lessons that I've learned from that I can carry into my next situation. Not to let my guard down in this, you're right.
But my point is, we need to learn as people, both men and women, to lay some of these burdens down. Or else we're going to spend a lifetime trying to correct that's prohibiting us from moving forward, because some people get stuck in the healing part. It's a cycle.
But see, that's the point I was making earlier. So if we do it as in the moment that it's happening, then we can go into the next relationship healthy. But because we don't ever do it in those moments, or we allow those moments to fester, or we don't reconcile them properly and lay all the blame at the feet of the other person and take no acceptance of our part that we played, now we bring the same toxic behavior that we left from this last relationship into the next relationship, and now it's bad. Now it's just you just perpetuating this thing on to the next thing.
How many people have been in counseling for years? And ain't shit changed.
But see, this is great. This is probably the hot take of the night right here. I don't believe, oh man, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. I don't believe counseling takes years. I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't.
Why do people go for years?
Because
they don't want to change.
Thank you. To me, counseling is useless if you are not willing to make alterations. There's a huge difference between sitting in a room talking to somebody and you saying, I'm gonna help you get to this place of understanding so that you can make your own personal corrections. That's two different things. But what a lot of what we call therapy and counseling is really just paid conversations.
Over
and paid conversations don't bring correction. Right. Paid conversations don't bring correction. You have to do your work.
Oh yeah.
You have to do the work. You gotta deal with you.
What's the purpose of the work?
The purpose of the work is to understand, to me, this is just me, this is Lloyd Spence talking. The purpose of the work is to understand where mistakes or bad decision making or whatever has happened has to understand what has taken place so that you can be better prepared for the next thing that is going to happen. Give you a perfect example. This is a terrible example, but it's a perfect example. When you fail a test in school, the first thing you want to do is get the old test and your notes and compare them and say, where did I blow the understanding at? Because if I understand where I blew the understanding, then going forward, I can maybe make some corrections that allow me to pass the next test. Well, that's all we're talking about in counseling. It's saying, do I understand why I failed here or why this failed? Because if I do, then now I can pass going forward. But if I refuse to learn any lessons, if I refuse to alter my study habits, if I refuse to deal with anything that I could have contributed, maybe I didn't contribute anything. Maybe my only contribution to my failure was the original choice that I made and the person that I chose. But then I have to ask myself why I chose that person. But whatever part you played, if you don't ever deal with that, you can't get to the other side.
Okay.
That's my humble opinion.
That makes sense.
But Tara, and you're Tara, you're 1,000% correct. The homework is about you. It ain't about the counselor. It's about you. But a lot of times, man, these therapists will string these folk along for for years.
That's true.
I gotta say, I've been counseling for 2-3 years. Dare I say, you need to get another counselor.
Right. If you don't been
trying to talk about the same thing for 2 or 3 years, something is wrong.
Yeah, because some people take the counselor as, and I hope that this is not the case. They be like, in other words, I go there just to vent, but I'm not trying to change anything. I just want to go there and say what it is I want to say to somebody, get it off my chest, and that's what I come there for. Instead of
that's not counseling,
right? That's what I'm saying. I believe because there's a couple of people that I know that go to counseling, been going to counseling for like 10 years or whatever. And you saying, but I don't see anything that's changed in the 10 years that you say you've been going.
Oh, listen. Right. That's not counseling. I don't need if all your counselor does is subtly co-sign your stuff, or if all your counselor does is just pick little parts to say, well, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Well, if there's never any work that your counselor or your therapist challenges you to do with yourself, something is vastly wrong with that counseling. And you are being taken and you're spending money that you shouldn't be spending. Because counseling, and most counselors and therapists are not cheap. And if all you're doing is and then do a gauge on your life. If your life ain't any better after 2 or 3 years, why do the same thing and never get a different result?
I'm just saying.
So that's why I say if that's what you're going to the bar meeting, or you're going to the club meeting, or you're going to the church meeting, two people that are in a perpetual loop, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and there you go. That's good, Tara. That's perfect. She said my therapist puts me to work, and I even have the notes to go back and look at. Yeah, that's good. What is the difference between counseling and the church? That's a great question. Well, y'all might not like my answer though.
Well, you can get counseling at church.
You can, if it's a church that's willing to be honest about what they're counseling you on. Because here's, oh God, y'all gonna think I'm a heathen when I say this. God lays out the blueprint for you to do the work. And a lot of times we try to use God, or we'll try to use the devil as the scapegoat to our problems. Well, you just let the devil in. Well, hold on.
That part.
You know, you got counseling is, but I'm gonna say something to you about the educational side of it, Tara. A lot of these so-called educated counselors ain't good counselors. They're terrible. They're terrible at their jobs. So good counseling is about the individual's ability to be able to understand what they've heard, and then to help you get to healing. That's a good counselor.
Oftentimes, I believe most people go into counseling with the wrong a misconception about what's actually going to take place.
Absolutely.
I also believe that people want too many answers from counseling. And counselor's not going to give you all the answers. That why did it happen to me? Why did I have to go through it? Why? That's not, counselor's not going to do all that for you. You're going to have to get to a point in counseling where it allows you to say, you know what, it happened. Now, how do I move forward? Because some stuff, dysfunctional stuff, some stuff is just fucking unexplainable. You can use all the educated words and all the educated charts and homework in the world. Some stuff is just unexplainable when you're dealing with dysfunctional people. How do I rationalize the irrational?
But some counseling, when you get to those questions, are not so much about the what happened or the why it happened, as much as it is about the what will your response be now that you understand there is no answer to the why.
I agree.
So
how do I move forward with the
right? So how do I move forward? Right. You got to be able to be able to kind of pull a lot of different things together for the individual that's sitting in front of you. So that's okay. That's okay, because every counseling session is not going to be the same. Sometimes there is some why. Sometimes there is not some why. But there is some what as to relates to the why, and that's okay too. But the bottom line is getting a foundational stability of answer to where you can move forward. And I think we got to stop being afraid in our community to deal with any of it, which is where I think a lot of us are. We're terrified to deal with the truths that are sometimes staring us right in the face.
Once you victimize yourself, and this is not an offensive statement, I'm seriously asking.
No, it's the truth.
Once you victimize yourself, you can't move from the why. You have to get the answer to the why. So you have to let go of that mentality that needs the why.
Yeah.
Or else you're stuck for years.
Yeah.
There's no other reason for counseling to take years, other than
reason.
Other than you're stuck. You can't get past the why.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why what you just said is so important. Why what you just said is so critically important. If you never ever reconcile that, then you end up like that girl on the video we showed last night. When I watched her punch her boyfriend, that rapper, she wasn't punching him. She was punching every situation that she hadn't dealt with.
I agree.
And that's the problem. When you don't know how to reconcile any of it, you fight it all. And you fight everyone. And you don't know how to fix any of it. So you're walking around in damage. So imagine you meeting that at the bar and that booty's on poke and everything is looking the way it's supposed to look, and you take that home and you have that one night situation, and now you've opened her up to this possibility, but the possibility comes along with all this unreconciled damage. And you're not equipped to handle it. He ain't equipped to handle that. He got his own stuff he's dealing with. He is not equipped to be in this relationship at all. And that's what's happening in our society. Two unequipped people are coming together and being led solely by attraction and immaturity. And they're calling it a relationship.
Do you, Mr. Noise, believe in total healing?
I don't know if total healing is possible in the courtship, because total healing sometimes takes a lot longer than just a month or a year or whatever. There may be stuff buried in you deep that you don't even know is still there, that only comes out in certain aspects of your life. So I don't know if total healing is the ultimate goal to build into a marriage. I do believe there is a measure of healing and functionality that should go forth before you transition into marriage. You can't carry high levels of toxicity into your marriage and think that you're going to be successful. I just don't believe that. I just do not believe that. I just don't believe that. I just don't know how you do that. I mean, Mama, you may think differently. I don't know.
I don't know if I disagree with that, but I don't know if I agree with it. It depends on who you're marrying. Listen, the truth of the matter is a lot of us as blacks, let's just be honest, y'all, shit hell. We are marrying some dysfunctional shit.
Right, on both sides.
And we have no other choice because that's what's.
Well, that's why I said. Well, that's why I said I don't think you. I think it's hard to be. I don't know anybody that came into their marriage completely healed. Like they were both just completely healthy, healed, high level function people. I just that seems like a fairy tale.
We put on airs like we are.
We put on airs like we are. That's true. We do that. But I don't think that's usually. I don't think that's how it is.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think, and by the way, I think that can be okay if both people decide, let's recognize that we're not all the way there, but we're going to keep working on this thing called marriage and make it better week in and week out.
Oh my gosh.
No, Tara, you're gonna say it. That's just I found myself we stuck, Tara. We stuck.
Oh, I'm not saying it. I don't care what
We done burned it into our DNA.
Nope. I won't do it.
Lord help us all.
But no, I think the goal, I would wonder if the goal for relationships in 2022 going forward, especially with the older groups, are to find someone that you can work with and build with legitimately. I just heard a comedian named Takara Williams. She just got married in February. She dated this dude for 2 years. He's actually a relationship counselor. And in her latest stand-up, she said, after being with this guy 2 years and recognizing who he is and what he does for a living, I come to realize I'm the problem. She said, I'm the problem. She said, I am toxic. And I realize that now. She said, I've been around toxic people, but I'm still pretty toxic and I got some work to do. Because she said he don't argue with me, he don't go down the road with me, and he tries to help me to deal with certain aspects of who I am. And when you sitting in a room and you arguing with yourself, you realize, oh shit, I'm the problem. And the beauty of what I think that's funny, it's good comedy, but the truth of the matter is there's a truth to it that I think we can all appreciate. That good iron sharpening iron reveals the reality of who and what you are at that point in the relationship. At least it should, to where you can look at each other and say, okay, I might be damaged in this area and I need to get it together. And that's okay. Because if you're both willing to work on those damaging areas and be patient with one another, you can see some good results.
Yeah.
Listen. I believe I love Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love her conversation when she has it. But it could work if we're both willing to work on it.
Yeah. Good.
But Tara, Tara, you heard what I said. It's okay. It's okay if I love you, sister.
What? Somebody call somebody.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that some of us just aren't capable at that moment of fighting, of working on it. Some people's holes are so big. They're in such a deep hole place in life that they aren't able to fight at the same level that you are. You have to work with them and love them to a point to where they can work on it. But for some people working on it, it's just showing up every day. They don't know what else to do because their brokenness is so deep. We as men in particular, and I mean it for women too, but we as men in particular have to know that's not the time to walk away from that woman because she's not able to fight with you. It's time to dig in even harder and further in order to get her there.
Mm-hmm.
Too many of us are willing to walk away. But we've all agreed that our brokenness in our community is for real. For real, for real.
Yeah. I think those who feel like they are incapable of working on it in the relational part should walk to the relationship.
But we don't walk because we see ass, we see tits, we see
right. I agree.
We don't walk. But I agree with you.
Yeah, you should walk. That's why I think that might be one of the reasons why we're failing at this thing, because we're running into situations like it's on, like the old sitcom, two people running on the beach and they stripping down their clothes at each other and they running into each other's arms, with no concept of how really bad this situation is, because you haven't taken the time to evaluate it at all.
I agree.
But just walk to the relationship. Just walk. Take your time. The pleasure, the sexual pleasure will be there. The gratification will be there. It ain't going nowhere. There's pills for that. I mean, you'll be able to get to where you need to get to. But man, I'm just saying. But man, getting there and leading with that, and then come to find out this person is a lot more than you bargained for, or a lot more unwilling to work at it than you thought they were, man, that's going to create some long-term issues.
You know, Tara said something earlier, and I don't want her to go into details on it here right now, but she said something that I thought was interesting, and we moved on from it. If she was willing to take back her ex today, that ninja would come right back to his family.
Say that again.
She said it. If I was willing to take him back,
Yeah.
he would come back.
Okay. Wow.
I don't want her to go any deeper into it right now. We talk about it later, but that.
Well, we certainly go part 2 this, because I think we just kind of skimmed this. We hit some good stuff, but there's a lot more meat on this bone.
Yeah.
There's a lot more meat on this bone. But that's true, though. That's very true. But I don't think women now. This is where I'm gonna agree with the article, and I hope y'all ready for this. I don't disagree with women should set a standard for men to live up to.
You don't disagree?
I don't disagree. I think men should step their game up. I do think that. I think we should require of each other.
Yeah.
Step your game up. Don't stop coming to me wanting a relationship or wanting you know what's funny? This is a terrible example, but it's a fantastic example. Cardi B got in that relationship with that boy Quavo. Is that his name? Quavo? Is that who she's married to? No,
Yeah.
she's not married to Quavo. Who she married to?
Offset.
Is it Offset?
No, she's
She married to one of the Migos boys. And she
Okay.
got in a relationship, and that boy was wildly immature. And he thought he could have Cardi B and flex on the gram and flexing his music. And I got one of the baddest chicks and blah, 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 blah. And then when he cheated on her, she publicly dropped his ass.
Yep.
To the point where he felt so desperate to get her back that he rolled up at one of her concerts and walked out on stage and got down on one knee and begged her to come back. My point is, if you set the standard and he really wanted to be there, he'll rise to the occasion. I don't have no problem with that. But I think it also works both ways. I think as men, we got to set a standard as well.
Mm-hmm.
And say, not that she's got to be perfect, because we know that that's not, that's not what we're talking about. But I'm saying we got to be willing to work on this together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wonder what we're at the bar, and maybe that's the question. Maybe that's the place we start at.
My fear with what you just said, and I don't disagree with it now. Shit, hell.
Oh my gosh.
I want to start with Ron's question.
If men are waiting on women to set the bar higher for them, then we're going to be waiting a long time, because too many of our women don't know what real manhood looks like.
Uh-oh.
So they really can't hold you accountable. Some try in a very dysfunctional way. That goes back to that mama did it all, so I'm going to do it all. So I'm going to demasculate you. You just have to come up to me.
Right.
So I think that that's a very dangerous thing. Your manhood, listen to me now. I know I'm from the church, not of God in Christ, but I'm from the Catholic Church.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I believe your manhood comes from God. It's a mentality. It's a godly mentality. It's principle based. It's not whether or not some woman is willing to hold me accountable and raise the bar for me to step up and be a man. I should do that all by myself because of who I am and as the old folks, church folks would say, whose I am. Now, I believe that to my core. No matter how crazy my wife acted, she didn't let go of some of that shit. But no matter how crazy, I had to be a man, y'all. I couldn't go out there flapping in the wind because she was fucking flapping in the wind. Somebody had to be steadfast and stern in the relationship.
And Dr. Harrison, to answer your question, these men are always teaching other men.
We're trying. And the goal is to continue to do so.
Vice versa. I look every opportunity I get. As long as they willing to listen, I'll help them.
I think that the challenge of what we're talking about here today is that this is a lesson. This is a hard lesson for many of our men and women to learn, because it requires, like what Cuz said, a selflessness that man, you gotta want to build something real in our communities.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we may need to pick up, because Ron asked a great question. He said, why are white people better at relationships than black people? Are they better?
That was a dumb question.
I don't know if it's dumb. Because I think I don't know if it's dumb. Because I think the perception is that they are better. I think the perception is that they're better.
I will agree.
I don't think that's reality, but I do think the perception is out there that they're better at it, when the truth is no, they're not.
Or why is it that men only wait till they get old or something start breaking down or they start getting sick and stuff, and then they want to start talking about a relationship? Why are you all young and full of vigor and all of that? You don't want to be in no committed relationship talking about the culture and being a good example of a black family. Then when everything starts falling apart, I need somebody to hit me, and you got some type of sickness or illness or something. Now you need somebody to take care of you. Now you're ready to.
So in other words, his ass was selfish in youth, and now he's selfish in old age. It's still all about him.
That part.
When do we let go of that bullshit?
I mean, come on, man.
I know I shouldn't curse. I apologize. Y'all forgive me.
Stop it. I'm never forgiving you. Let's get into the deeper of this on Thursday. We definitely got a part 2 this one. This is a good one. And it's a hard conversation to have for some people. Listen, there is a high level of accountability. Don't answer that yet. We about to close.
Don't get me started, Kyrie.
Don't answer that yet. Because we got to close. But we're gonna get into it on. Matter of fact, that will be where we start.
Right, Dr. Harrison.
Yeah, that'll be where we start on Thursday.
I don't understand that Mrs. versus BS. What is that? They go to school. Or Mrs. versus
or a Mrs. versus a BS.
I don't understand that.
A bachelor's. A Mrs. versus a bachelor's.
Oh.
On that note,
I had in my mind bullshit, and I couldn't get away from the bullshit.
Yeah, and that's
because that's not a surprise.
That explains a lot, actually. Here's what we're doing tomorrow for those who are interested in some good sports talk. The 5 will be in tomorrow. So we're going to talk about some things on tomorrow's. Apparently, there's been a decision made in Brooklyn. And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the NFL and make some predictions and all that good stuff. And then we'll
talk about them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
They look terrible.
Lord, in the broadcast.
They look terrible. They look terrible. And then we will get back into this on Thursday and talk about some more. So invite some people, man. Invite some people. Then like, follow, and subscribe. And this has been a great conversation. Shout out to all the noisemakers for participating tonight. And just bringing such depth like you always do. And we'll do it all again on tomorrow's. On tomorrow for the 5, and then Thursday we'll finish this up. So until then, Love y'all. Peace out.